Pro audio and music production has an infinitely high ceiling when it comes to the amount of money you can spend on gear, and it's not always clear what's actually worth it. Today, I'm going over 5 areas of my setup I wish I upgraded sooner, the exact gear I upgraded to, and what to look for when you're shopping for yourself. If you're new here, I post videos every week and I'm on the road to 100 subs. Let's get into it. The first interface I ever got was a Steinberg UR44, and I used that thing for like 6 years from high school through finishing my music degree. The biggest reason I didn't upgrade sooner was because it had enough I/O for my needs at the time, and I was more focused on upgrading software and plugins since it did the job. However, the preamps and converters on these things are just not that good when you put them up against higher end gear, and when I did an A/B test after upgrading, I was genuinely floored. You can absolutely tell the difference, and I absolutely wish I upgraded it sooner. I currently have an Apollo X6, which was a significant investment, but it's the heart of my studio, which gives me room to upgrade and lots of flexibility, especially when paired with a patch bay. Universal Audio isn't as ahead of the curve as they used to be in the preamp market, but I frankly still really like the integration of the console app for low latency tracking and live sound solutions. With the new hardware line, you should be able to find a last-gen desktop or rack model for much cheaper now. SSL and Neumann also have great products these days, and I would personally rock their stuff. Next on the list is a full-size 88-key MIDI keyboard. For a long time, I used a combination of a newer Akai 25-key MIDI keyboard for the mod wheel, aftertouch, pitch bend, all the modern needs, and a bulky 61-key Yamaha keyboard that is as old as I am for playing in chordal parts and experimentation. This was fine. Most things could be played in on the 25-key that sat on my desk, but the Yamaha needed a designated keyboard stand, and with how much extra space it took up, I was frequently storing it away, adding an additional step when I needed it. Fast forward to now, I have an Arturia KeyLab Essential 88 key right in front of me on the desk behind my mouse and keyboard thanks to a monitor arm, and I will never go back. Something I underestimated was how nice the full range is for visualizing your arrangement as you make it, and being able to dive into anything anytime is a big quality of life upgrade for me. The keyboard I got does have some extra bells and whistles like transport controls, drum pads, volume sliders, but I honestly hardly use them, and months after getting it, I don't think it's worth paying the premium for. The only reason I went for this over more affordable options like some of the M Audio stuff really just came down to the feel of the keys themselves. With that said, you absolutely get used to whatever you use regularly. Buying secondhand can be a solid option as well. A good portion of people reselling their gear are doing so because they don't use it enough and it's really just sat on a desk for most of its life, but be sure to try before you buy. Next up, it's open back headphones. If you make music in an apartment or an untreated space, open back headphones can be a lifesaver to audition your music at a healthy volume without disturbing your roommates, neighbors, and bypass some poor room acoustics. Compared to closed backs, they offer a far more natural frequency response and create a more accurate critical listening environment. Closed backs are great for tracking to minimize bleed into the microphone or for working somewhere that's noisy, but I would avoid making any serious mix decisions on them. I went through a lot of trial and error when I was working out of an apartment, and I would have saved myself a lot of time had I turned to them sooner while in that space. I went for the Sennheiser HD600s off a recommendation from a professor and have no regrets to this day. They're still going strong. Beyerdynamic DT990s are also a strong option. Most of these are high impedance, which means you may need a designated headphone amp to turn them up where you want them, especially if you're using an affordable interface or consumer electronics with them. The last two I'm going to group together, and that is a treated space with better and more appropriately sized speakers. Treating your space can be one of the most tedious and expensive parts of your setup, but honestly, it's the best thing you can do to level up your sound and your ability. Like I said earlier, I worked out of an apartment with KRK Rocket 5s for several years because it's the best that I had. But as soon as I got into this space with better speakers, the guesswork disappeared. I almost cried driving to the gym one time because I was listening to a bounce in the car and it sounded exactly how I thought it should. Now on my comment about appropriately sized speakers, I think it's honestly more important than just buying the best or biggest speakers that you can. This is the first room I've worked in that's treated and can handle larger speakers, which lets me reap the benefits of the flatter frequency response and more accurate low end. But if you put my HS8s in a tiny untreated square room, it would be completely unusable. A year and a half ago, I did a week of sessions in an untreated basement suite where the main goal was writing and getting ideas in, and we were working on these tiny M Audio speakers. But when I left and listened in the car, I was shocked by how good we were able to get them to sound, and I think it was absolutely due to the fact that those speakers were the proper size for that room. So there you have it. There's 5 pieces of gear I wish I upgraded sooner. Let me know in the comments what you're hoping to upgrade, and I will see you next week. Bye. Want to hear a song that hits different? This is my new song, Screwed. If you like pop rock vibes and guitar solos, this is for you. You can find it, link in the description. Bye.
If you leave me here right out in the open, I'm screwed.